Hey everyone, the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notifications down below if you haven't already. Good morning, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. I am Kevin, your host. Behind me, as usual, the beautiful wagon wheel, and hopefully still a little wisdom up here. I wanted to talk to you this morning about, well, something that happened yesterday, but I wanted to convey at how I think it really ties into us in general. Now, if you're on this journey, there is a high percentage, and probably close to 100%, that you feel you are the chaser in this runner-chaser dynamic between the twin souls. We are typically the empathic people. We are typically the givers. And with this giving, I would be willing to bet, and again, this is just from my experience, but because we all seem to be sharing the same sort of experiences on this timeline, that we, a lot of the times, probably exhausted ourselves in giving in the relationship, meaning we took it upon ourselves to make sure that our partner's cup was full while ours was empty. Good coffee this morning too, by the way. And by doing so, and I'm going to give you my specific example of when the relationship ended, I felt absolutely devastated and insanely resentful towards her because I was under the impression that I was the one doing all of the work, constantly giving, etc., etc., and thinking that if I didn't do this, she would be disappointed in me. And if that sounds anything like your experience, please comment down below. With that in mind, yesterday, I had to go help coach my son's football team. He's in 5th grade, 10 years old, full contact, full pads. And about midway through the practice, the coach kind of scolded my kid pretty good. And it was because we, as all the coaches, were just noticing his reluctancy to engage in any sort of contact and playing the game in a fear-based mindset, which it's hard to understand at that age, but when you're playing football and tackle football, and this can translate into other sports as well, if you're in a fear-based, where, and I'll give you an example, he's reaching out to make tackles instead of coming in nice and formed using the pads and the safety equipment. When you're playing fearful, straight up, and nervous, you're actually more prone to injury than you would be if you were to be playing aggressive and taking a good position and using the pads that they give you. And so after Coach scolded him, he had some tears in his eyes, and I just went up to him and I said, "Buddy, do you want to play football?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Yes." And I said, "Do you want to get hit?" "No," he goes. I wish I would have had a camera on my face because of the confused look. And I asked him again, "Do you want to play football?" "Yes." "Do you want to get hit?" "No." At that moment, his mom had shown up, and so I said, "All right, let's go over and talk to Mom." And practice was just about over anyway, so we went over there, and again, I asked those two very direct questions, and he had the exact same answers. And I said, "Well, buddy, as a coach and a father, if you don't want to get hit, I can't have you out here just based on safety." I said, "You and the way you're playing, you're going to get hurt." And you're probably wondering, where is this going with this? I promise I'm going to make a point with this here in a little bit. So he went home with his mom. I finished up practice. The other coaches kind of talked to me like, they had said, "We've got other kids out here that don't necessarily want to get hit. Have them finish out the season." And I completely agreed with them. I was frustrated in that moment, and I didn't raise my voice or yell, but I was just frustrated and told him that it's probably best if he went home and talked with his mom and whatnot. So after practice, I went over to their house, had a conversation with his mom, and went upstairs and talked with him, and just again asked those two exact same questions, probably another 3 or 4 times. And I just said, you can't have both arguments, buddy, here. You can't play football and not want to get hit, especially when it's full contact. Flag football is a little bit different. There's different rules. It's more, I guess, soccer-like in that aspect. Sure, there's contact, but there's no tackling or anything like that. And I went back downstairs and just talked with his mom, and she brought up something interesting. She said, on the way over to the car, he had said, "You forced me to do this." And I sat back, and I absolutely went, holy shit. It just hit me. I said, I bet he's doing this because he thinks I grew up as an athlete. I had a lot of sports accolades. I train weightlifting now. I played for a semi-pro football team here in the city, and I did that for 2 years. So I've been all about athletics and sports and whatnot. And I looked at his mom and I said, I bet he's doing this because he thinks, or he's trying to live up to what he thinks I want from him. And so I went back upstairs and reframed the question. And I said, are you playing because you think I want you to? And he looks dead in the eyes with a tear and he goes, yes. And I said, buddy, I said, no matter what you do, I'm going to support you. No matter what you choose to do. And don't ever do anything for anybody because you think they want you to do it, that they'll be disappointed in you if you don't. Don't be like that. But I did ask him, I said, you did commit to the team. The coaches want you at practice. Can you finish out the year? We've only got 13 practices left and 5 games. So not a lot of time, but I want him to not quit on the team. I want him to be there because he's an only child and I think he really likes that environment. So how does this tie in? I believe that we as empaths tend to do things for people that we think they want us to do when in fact it might be completely the opposite. But we've always been such givers in our lives. We've always been codependent maybe in some ways. We always try to kind of hitch our wagons to people just to feel accepted. And I believe that just based on that conversation with my son, that's dangerous waters and something that I know I'm certainly trying to correct in my life. There's a big difference between filling up somebody's cup because you genuinely want to versus doing things because you think they want you to do them while exhausting yourself and completely emptying your glass at the same time. I'll never forget the pain of the breakup when it first happened. And I said that in the beginning, how exhausted I felt from an energetic level because kind of depleting all your reserves, I guess. Like you tried to sit and, make the relationship work. You tried to do everything that they maybe asked or even didn't ask of you. And what I've learned is that's not going to fly anymore. It isn't. And this journey that we're on, if this isn't about self-empowerment and self-improvement, nothing is. Your mindset should be completely about you and focusing on you. And it's the most non-selfish thing you can ever do. The only thing that's odd about it is it feels weird. It felt odd out of the gate to think of myself first. I've always had sort of maybe a mindset because I was prior to this last relationship, a narcissistic personality disorder relationship with a woman who, that's a different ballgame altogether. But I always thought that maybe if I wanted things or asked for things, that made me selfish. That it's always about the other person. And what I'm just completely gathering, and even with this lesson with my son yesterday, it cannot be like that anymore for us. We have to fill our cup first. We have to. And it's not selfish to do so. It's not hurting anybody. It's not, you're not excluding people, because the reality is to keep that mindset where you think you need to do things for people all of the time, you're actually you're cheating yourself out of life. And I know that might sound a little odd, but you truly are not, you're not on the same page as you. You're disconnected from you, fragmented in a way. So that I guess is today's lesson with that. And every single day, like I see these little things, just kind of those aha moments that I come to, and the teaching. If you're a parent, my kid has been like the ultimate breath of fresh air as far as me having these aha and learning moments about growing in myself. And I hope like heck that we had a great conversation yesterday that helps change him so he doesn't have to go through that mindset like I have for the last 45 or 46 years, where I feel the need, just like he did, to do things for people because I think they want, like, I think I'll be accepted, or I think that they want me to do this. And it's a, I guess dangerous isn't the right word, but it's a, what would be the right word here? Well, I guess it could be a dangerous way to kind of go through life, because again, we exhaust ourselves at the expense of others. And in order for us to function at our highest and our best, that's not a lifestyle that we can adhere to anymore. So it isn't selfish to take care of you first. This journey is going to be about that. Taking care of you, filling your own cup, and seeing where life takes you. So, thank you for watching. Again, Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. Love you guys.